So I really love the way that he juxtaposes the lower part of kind of a rapping, melodic, but rhythmically driven vocal part of the beginning. And so also something you'll notice here that he's starting to do is he's adding ad-libs. So this is where you start to change up some aspect of the chorus.
Run, run, lost boy, they say to me.
Hey everyone, Adam Mishan here, singer, songwriter, and vocal coach, and Mordechai Shapiro just recently put out this song. Let's check it out, ASHIRA. I love the rhythm of that vocal, man. The rhythm itself drives the melody of that phrase. It's pretty much rapped. Really, really like that intro. I love the horns. I mean, anytime there's horns in music gets me, but the rhythm of his vocal is incredible. So I really love the way that he juxtaposes the lower part of kind of a rapping, melodic, but rhythmically driven vocal part of the beginning, and then changes it up with a much more melodically driven chorus that's going significantly higher in his range. So there's a significant jump from where he was at the beginning, and I think it sounds great. All right, let's keep going. All right, so repeating the same phrase over and over again in the verse can obviously get to be, especially with the exact same rhythm, can get to be a little bit grating. So what he did here in this second verse, because it's the exact same as the first verse, that's the thing with Jewish music, is that you don't really have much change up in the lyrics from verse to verse. It pretty much just repeats itself. So there has to be something else that changes, right? If he did a simple cut and paste of first verse to second verse, it would be much more boring. Whereas in a lot more, average, just general music, you'll get a different lyrical content in the second verse than you had in the first verse. And so that in and of itself tells a story. So here, in order to create a little bit more diversity in the song, he started to change up the melody and he started to add backing vocals. And it did a really good job of keeping me interested to hear what's going to happen next. Because the very first part of the second verse was the exact same, but then started to change. So it's always a balance between keeping people interested and getting into their heads with a very clear, repeatable, interesting melody, but then also keeping it fresh enough that it doesn't get stale. And I think he's walking that tightrope very well. And so also something you'll notice here that he's starting to do is he's adding ad-libs. So this is where you start to change up some aspect of the chorus. So the background, there will be, the main part, ASHIRA, ASHIRA. That part is obviously replaying over and over. But then the lead vocalist, so to speak, starts to take a back seat and start to sing some in-between pieces like this. I'll show you. So, whereas the vocal is still going, ASHIRA, ASHIRA, still going in the background, he's starting to add some in-between melody. So if any of you have ever been interested in singing, maybe you were told early on that you should just stop singing, or you have a terrible voice, or you're tone deaf, you gotta check out my beginner singing course. It walks you through the very basic fundamentals, because there's no such thing as a good voice or a bad voice. There is only a trained and untrained voice. So start your training now. Let me show you how you're not tone deaf and how your voice can be a good one too. Nice run. Wow, trumpet solo. Definitely not something you see a lot in modern music. It's nice. I like the idea of a solo. Now, recent music has always been so vocally driven. There's just like back-to-back, vocal to vocal, vocal. It's really nice to see a little bit of the instruments taking center stage. Now this is a total change from where we were at before. Like super high energy before, very lyrically driven. Now just da 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 da, just very easy, light, not a ton of horns, not a ton of music altogether. Totally changing it up here. And so again, here he's adding in some really nice ad libs. I really like that. And we had this little breakdown. So we had the da 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 boom. That part was breaking it down. Then they started to add a little bit more intensity, go back to the chorus without any instruments, just the vocals. And then they added in a little bit of beat with, you know, the stomping and that type of thing. And then they started to jump in full on with all of the instruments all together. And it's really impressive to see all of this packed into a 3.5 minute song. Like really good. Totally keeping me guessing all the way through. I like how we're hearing, like there's a recall of this part that was kind of the bridge, let's say, the breakdown. Now they're recalling it again. Creating a little bit more of a crescendo here. Now, I knew that was going to go one of two ways. Either it was going to go to full crescendo with like everything back again, although there wasn't enough time for that to really work. I could tell it probably wasn't going that direction. Or like that, where it just totally leaves off just his vocal at the end. Like it was kind of a lead up and then let down. So it could have been a crescendo, but they decrescendo at the end and just let his voice be the very last thing that you hear. Very memorable. Really, really love this song. I'm going to be listening to it a lot. It's very good. Well done, Mordechai. So if you guys like this video, please click on that one because you're going to like it too.